What's up, YouTube? This is Absolute Fandemonium. I'm your host, JT Jackson. Alright, so before we get started, I want to thank everybody for joining me here on the channel for the first video. It's Halloween time, things are getting spooky out there, so I figured why not start it off with a list of my top 10 favorite Disney villains. Here at Absolute Fandemonium, I'm going to try to cover everything from Star Wars, Marvel, Harry Potter, Disney. I love it all, and I want to talk about that stuff with you guys. So without any further ado, let's hop into some honorable mentions. The first honorable mention comes from Walt Disney's 1940 masterpiece Fantasia, my personal favorite Disney film. He's been described as Disney's best embodiment of pure evil. If you check out the Night on Bald Mountain segment of Fantasia, you'll learn that Chernobog's not a villain you want to toy with. The next honorable mention might raise a few eyebrows, but Captain Hook is not going to be making the top 10 on this list. First appearing in the 1953 film Peter Pan, I had to leave Captain Hook off for 3 reasons. 1, he loses his hand to a child. 2, he spends most of the movie crying to Mr. Smee. And 3, he's probably only the second most famous pirate in Disney right now. The last honorable mention is from The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad, the Headless Horseman, probably giving us one of the most iconic shots of a villain ever in Disney animation. Sword in one hand, head in the other, horses going nuts, you gotta love it. The Headless Horseman rounds out the honorable mentions. Now it's time to get into the meat of this top 10 with number 10. Pete is the OG Disney villain. Created by Walt Disney and Ub Iwerks, his first appearance was in 1925's Alice Solves the Puzzle as Bootleg Pete. You know, it was the 20s, people bootlegged. Over the last century, Pete has played the role of friend and foe, appearing in shows like Goof Troop, Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, films like Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas, An Extremely Goofy Movie, and in video games such as the Kingdom Hearts series. Staying in the world of early villains, I'm giving the 9th spot to the Evil Queen. First appearing in 1937's Snow White, which was the first full-length animated feature film, driven by jealousy, she turns herself into an old hag and gets Snow White to eat a poison apple. The Evil Queen also holds the honor of having one of the most brutal villain deaths. I mean, look at this. Coming in at number 8 on the list is Yzma. Arguably one of the most quotable villains on the list, she's responsible for giving us gems like
pull the lever, Kronk.
Why do they even have that lever? Yzma made her first appearance in 2000's The Emperor's New Groove, where after being fired by Emperor Kuzco for doing his job, she devises a plan to get rid of the Emperor, which eventually leads to him becoming a llama. The only reason she's not higher on my list is because at times she's overshadowed by her sidekick, Kronk. And also, she's just way too cute as a cat. I mean, I don't even like cats, but I want 2 of those. The number 7 spot on my list belongs to Ursula, the sea witch from 1989's The Little Mermaid. Ursula has 2 of the most menacing sidekicks in Flotsam and Jetsam, as well as, in my opinion, the most brutal villain death. She is a master scammer, and her octopus legs only make her that more intimidating as a villain. With the live-action remake of The Little Mermaid on the way, and no Ursula yet to be chosen as the release of this video, I can only cross my fingers and hope that they choose Guy Fieri for the role. Number 6 on the list is Jafar. First appearing in 1992's Aladdin, Jafar is power-hungry, arrogant, and one of the scarier Disney villains. He has one of the best-known sidekicks in his parody Iago, and once he gets the wishes from Genie, he becomes an all-powerful genie himself. I had to rank Jafar in the top 10 personally because I'm terrified of snakes, and Jafar is just littered with snake imagery throughout the entire movie of Aladdin. Number 5 on this top 10 list is the murderous Xiang Yu from Disney's 1998 film Mulan. Everything about Xiang Yu is cold-blooded. Just listen to this line after he sends 2 Imperial scouts to relay a message to the Emperor.
Your Emperor has sent his strongest armies. I'm ready. How many men does it take to deliver a message? 1.
It still gives me chills every time. Beyond being ruthless, Xiang Yu is also an extraordinary leader. He marches his Han army past the Great Wall of China. and even after losing many men and surviving an avalanche, he manages to get into the Imperial City and within inches of the Emperor of China. He's a physical presence, an imposing figure, and easily a top 10 Disney villain. The number 4 villain on this list, I know for a fact, is very honored to have this spot.
You know, I haven't been this choked up since I got a hunk of moussaka caught in my throat. Huh?
Lord of the Underworld and King of Quips, ever since his first appearance in 1997's Hercules, Hades has been one of the most entertaining Disney villains. His evil knows no limits either, as he was willing to kidnap and kill his own nephew, all in the name of power. Voiced by James Woods, Hades has enough power and charisma to hold his spot on the Mount Rushmore of Disney villains for many years to come. Keeping up with the trend of evil uncles, our number 3 villain is Scar from 1994's The Lion King. Paying homage to Shakespearean villains, Scar is both sophisticated and a complete savage. The animators were also very intentional when designing Scar, giving him dark fur and claws that were always out to add to his threatening presence. Scar was willing to kill his nephew and brother to seize power, and is one of the few Disney villains to actually succeed with their plan, at least for a time. Landing in the number 2 spot on the list is the iconic Cruella de Vil from 1961's 101 Dalmatians. This chain-smoking fashionista will stop at nothing to get the look she wants. Few villains have a plan as evil as hers, as she wants to kill and skin Dalmatian puppies to turn their skin into a coat. Corolla also has one of the most catchy theme songs of any Disney villain, along with the most iconic hair. Number 1 on this list should come as no surprise. The Mistress of Evil herself, Maleficent, is near limitless in power and is one of the most recognizable villains ever created. From her pet raven Diablo to her horns, Maleficent embodies evil. Her look would go on to heavily influence the design of Jafar, and her transformation into a dragon is one of the most memorable in animation history. She is often depicted as the leader of Disney villains, like in the Kingdom Keeper series and in the Kingdom Hearts series. For all these reasons, Maleficent is without question the top Disney villain. Alright, so there you have it, the top 10 Disney villains as voted on by me, and me alone. If you have any comments about that, disagree with anything, go ahead, leave a comment down in the comment section below. Leave the video a like, subscribe, comment, share with your friends and family. If you have some ideas for more content you'd like to see on the channel, go ahead and leave a comment down below. I'll read through them all. Thank you for joining me here at Absolute Fandemonium for the first video.
Your Emperor to send his strongest armies. I'm ready. How many men does it take to deliver a message?
One.